Hello everybody, welcome back once again to another lutys chainsaw mods. I've been messing about with the Chinese Sanoa clone saw that I've got, which revved to 18,500 revs. I dynoed that one. I ran it for, it's got 3.9 hours on the actual time counter. It's I took it out in the woods not that long ago, and it kept cutting out on me doing different things. So to cut a long story short, I started off, I took off the wide open carburettor that I made for it, the one with the choke flap that I took off, so which is that one there. I messed about, I had issues and I got this to what I thought was brilliant anyway, you know, but I was convinced it had carburettor issues. So I put a standard carb on it. I took the cylinder apart. The cylinder's all scored badly, really badly in it. So I thought, great, you know, that's what it is. Maybe I need to richen up the fuel in a little bit to give it a bit more lube to counteract for the extra speed that it's pushing, because it is quite amazing. It's 18,500 RPM. That's almost like Formula 1 sort of engine speeds. And I never ever thought that this saw would really come to much. It was more of an experiment to see if I could achieve that kind of speed out of it, which I did, obviously. To be honest with you, whether it is only a Sanoa clone saw, but I think whatever saw it was, this, you know, it wouldn't, it's not going to stand that kind of speed for long. I know that, but I just wanted to do it. Okay, at the end of the day, this is what all this is about. It's a bit of fun. I enjoy doing this. It's experimentation. So initially I put a cylinder on it, okay, and I did away with the carburettor because I was fault finding basically. Okay, so I put a standard Husqvarna 372 carburettor on it to get around the other problem that I thought I might have had with the other carb, and I ported this cylinder. This is another Sanoa cylinder, 58cc, 47mm bore. So what I've done, I've kept the choke on this carburettor. So this is basically a standard Husqvarna 372, which they're bigger than the ones on the Sanoa clone anyway. They're good carbs. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to detune it a bit, you know, and have another go at this saw and see if I can get it to continue going. So this cylinder, you can probably see inside, I have ported it. Let's get a torch, hang on. I have ported this this cylinder. So it's got two open transfers, as you can see. I have opened up the intake somewhat, and the exhaust as well I opened up somewhat. I've put some extra cooling holes through the fins to try and help what I'm trying to do is try and get it slightly detuned, but get the torque up, because this originally, yeah, it was a screamer at 18,500 revs, and it made almost 6 horsepower, but the reason it did it was simply because of the speed. The torque was down lower than the first build that I did, which revs to 15,000 RPM. That's an amazing saw. The other one is an amazing saw. It really it's my favourite saw for working with. So yeah, so I'm detuning this. The other thing I've found, okay, so I originally found that when I turned the engine over, I've got a wobble on this crank. Now it may be bent, I don't know whether it's bent or not exactly, but I've tried the bearings that are in this saw on this shaft. It just falls through them, you know. It ain't, it's not the best. It just falls through them, you know. There is play, probably close to 1 millimetre of play in these. So basically the crankshaft is buggered. I've tried the new crank I've got is tighter, but also look at the colour of the bearings. This is once I pop the seal out, you know, they're all black inside, and one of them, I mean this one's all gritty, but the one on the other side, on this side, it's semi-seized. Hear it, you can get it to move, but it's sort of semi-seized. It's all black, look at it, that's come out the centre. Because I think what's happened, obviously the bearings can't keep up at that speed. They can't keep going at that speed, 18,500 RPM. So it's burnt the bearings out. The crank's been spinning in the bearings, so it's ruined the crankshaft. The way I found this is I could see as I was turning the crank, there was movement between the crank seal and the crankshaft, so it's obviously sucking air, and this is why it was it just fire once and wouldn't run properly. Try it again, fire, wouldn't run. It wouldn't actually run at all, wouldn't tick over, wouldn't do anything. And that's after putting the cylinder on it, because originally I did think it was the scored cylinder was the issue. So it's ruined everything really, you know. The speed's there, it's so fast that the cylinder hasn't been able to lubricate itself. Even though I've upgraded the carburetor for more fuel, but it's just too mad. Like, now what I was originally going to do with it was I was going to, which I'll still do it, I was going to slow the saw down until it started playing up badly. I was just going to originally slow the saw down. So what I was going to do is put myself a sonic cone in the front and do some form of expansion chamber, not big, because as you know I like them to be usable saw, but I was going to have a long pipe coming off this side going round and then out with a single outlet, probably a bit bigger than one of these. So I've got plans. This, you see, this was a standard silencer, but it's gutted out. It's designed for free flow only. This is part of the reason why it's so fast, because there's nothing holding it back, and that's why it's so fast. So I thought, well, what I'd do, I'd just slow it down using modify the exhaust. which I'll do to this. But my first stage is, yeah, I've got a 372 carb on it, which is like the other build. I'm trying to sort of copy stuff to a degree off the other build, try and get it closer to what that one is, because it's just, if this is no good at this speed, it's just, it was fun, amazing. I could do it again if I wanted to, but it's just going to blow a saw again, you know, it's just eating them bearings up. So I've got new bearings, I've got gaskets, seals. Oh yeah, this is one thing I'm doing as well. So I've ported the crankcase now. So can you see all this grinding work I've done around here, around here, around here. Okay, so I've ported it. Okay, and this one as well, it's all ported in the crankcase just for more flow. So one thing I like about these Chinese, if you can buy cylinders and pistons. Some of the pistons don't have these windows in, so I would suggest you always look at your order, because the ones with the windows in perform far better, far better, okay? Because if you imagine, as the piston goes down, squishes the fuel air mix inside the cylinder, inside the crankcase, it's pushed down, so then it tries to go up. Sorry, that's wrong, upside down. So it's pushed down, so it tries to go up and up through the transfers. That's why this has been ported up into the transfers. Now, the other way to assist it going into the transfers that are at the sides is that some of the fuel can go through the windows, can come up here through the windows straight into the side transfers. So I've made these bigger than what they should be, which is, it's similar to the way this saw was built, slightly bigger windows. I've kind of done a pop-up piston on it. It's slightly pop-up, not heavily, look. I don't have a lathe, so I've done it with grindstones and what have you. It's just fun, isn't it, you know? But yeah, I've ground it around, and now the reason that these Chinese are really good is because you'll find that the ports and the windows inside are not always a constant height. They vary, some are up or down by a mil and a half, but it kind of adds a bit of fun to it, because they come almost, the transfer time is different on them, and you know, so this, when I took the gasket off, I had no gasket on it and put this on. Normally they will go on, but I found that the piston, as I turned it by hand, was touching the top of the cylinder head. So rather than take more off the bottom of the cylinder, which would lower all the transfer ports, I thought, okay, to increase the torque a little bit, if I make it a slight pop-up, that way I'm keeping this cylinder standard, if you like. So I'm not lowering it anymore, so the ports aren't going to be any lower, but I'm allowing the piston to go up a little bit more. So it has actually increased the power stroke by 1 millimetre, which might not sound a lot, but it will increase the torque, because normally the exhaust opens and exhaust gases shoot out in blowdown, and it dragged the intake gases up the transfers. But if that happens too early, so your piston's coming down under pressure, and the more it can come down, well, it's in the power stroke, the more torque you're going to get. You won't necessarily get as much speed. So if you want more speed, you would lift the roof of the exhaust port slightly, so that it exhausts a bit quicker, and then it draws the fuel through a bit quicker, so it circulates, if you like, a little bit faster. But I wanted more torque, so I've kept the transfers standard, and I've basically taken the sides out of the piston off the top of the piston crown to allow the piston to be slightly higher. So that should give me an extra millimetre of compression stroke before the exhaust ports open, which should increase the torque. Theoretically, this could be a better build than the other one that I really love, because I think this should have a bit more torque than that one, and it should be really responsive. So, and then my final thing, because I'm not going to use it with a wide open exhaust, because I don't want it to blow, ruin everything like it's done with this one. So what I will do, I'll build an expansion chamber. Now I've got a standard exhaust in here, a brand new one that I haven't touched. So what I might do is modify this one, which is the standard, the one that's just been gutted out inside, and I'll put a sonic cone on it and a single outlet pipe slightly bigger, gut it all inside, and do what I do with mufflers really, to make a mini expansion chamber, which should bring the torque up again a bit more, which is what I'm after, because 15,000 RPM cutting at 10,000 RPM, that's perfect. See, the other thing I found as well, this one, that ran to 8,500 revs. It used to cut at 14,500 RPM. It used to cut the wood at that, and I was finding it was eating chains. It was just eating them. It would bend the teeth back, so if the chain had hit something that's, say, relatively hardwood, a knot, whatever, it's trying to rip through it so fast, the teeth couldn't take it, and it would be bending the teeth, breaking the teeth. It would dull off really quick, because it was getting hot as well, you know, even though they were sharp. It's just too fast. Now, it would have been good as a racing saw, because it would have done 3 cuts really quick, and as I said, it was the one that was twice as fast as me MS362, twice the speed easily. So it would have been a good racing saw, but I don't really want it for that. I want it to be a good work saw. So that's where I'm at the moment. I've got it stripped down now. I've got all my bits down there. Just trying to get you so you can see a bit better. Where I can. Yeah, so I've got all my bits down here, got my casings and everything, got it all apart. All my parts are here now. Oh, did I show you this? I can't remember if I told you or not. I made the new crankshaft is now a turbo crankshaft. So So that's a standard crankshaft. That's the one that's come out of it. That's a turbo crankshaft. Okay. So if you look, they've got grooves and they're orientated so that as it spins, it should slightly encourage the air to go sideways. That's the idea as it's spinning round. They do work, these. They don't give a great deal of power. I think the best I've seen with a turbo crank, which is if it's the only thing you changed, is half a horsepower. But I thought, well, the crank's out, I might as well do it. It's going to make it a bit lighter as well. It's only in the weights, as you can see. So yeah, so that's something else I'm trying. The only thing I don't like about this is that so the standard one, look, has got an oil way on the big end, and it's got oil holes on the small end. The new one doesn't, so it relies on the gaps at the sides to oil the big end, and the same with the small end. I did try and drill it, as you can see, one there and one there, but it's case hardened inside and I can't get through it. So I've given up on drilling it. I mean, that's how it was made, so you know that. So I'm gonna just put it in. New bearings. As I say, I'm tuning the speed down a little bit, hopefully bringing up the torque, and hopefully I'll have a bit of success. This this is obviously, it's got my intake manifold on it that I make. You see the orange one inside. So hopefully it'll be okay. So thanks once again for watching Lutys Chainsaw Mods. Bit of a fail if you like, but not necessarily. I pretty much was expecting this at some point. In fact, I thought it might blow it up completely, but so it's been rebuilt, detuned slightly on speed, hopefully raise the torque up, and she'll be good. So thanks very much for watching, and bye for now.